What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another beer review. Today we got one from Heavy Seas out of Baltimore, Maryland. This is their Blackbeard's Breakfast. It is a porter brewed with coffee and aged in bourbon barrels. It doesn't really say much about it. It says it's a rich porter flavors. Rich porter flavors are enhanced by roasted coffee notes and rounded out by bourbon barrel aging, creating a brew of bewitching character, clocking in at 10% ABV. I wish I knew who they were using for their coffee. It used to be Chesapeake Bay Roasting Company. So as far as I know, they're still using the same company. Also, speaking of used tos, this used to come in the bomber size, 22-ounce bomber size. But I think around 2020, they switched that up, started putting it into 12-ounce bottles, and they also changed the labeling when they did that. The top of this, I dig it. That's pretty cool. There is no bottled on date on this bottle, but it does have like the 2023 stamp there on it. And from what I could tell, based off their Facebook postings, sometime around the middle of January is when this got bottled and sent out. So it is the middle of February now, so a month old, which I'm really excited about because hoping that coffee is hitting, because that is what I'm in the mood for today. Let's find out. Nice, darker than I expected. It does pour that darkness. There is, I mean, for a porter, there's not really that much light coming through on this. I'm not seeing like anything really in the way of light coming through on the sides. Maybe a little bit, like right there at the dip of the bottom, kind of a reddish brownish hue. Have a finger, mocha head, dissipating really quickly. 10% bourbon barrel aged. I don't expect that. Let's get a nose in her. Lots of those roasted malts. Picking up some of the like a baker's chocolate type going on there. Very, very faint bourbon notes. And even less coffee notes coming through on this. Yeah, but still getting a lot of those just rich roasted malts coming on. It does have a slight sweetness to it, but ever so slight. Hopefully that coffee pops more in the taste. Cheers. So right up front, you're hit with those malts and a slight hint of bourbon. If you were to tell me that this, I don't really pick up that much bourbon in this. I wish I knew what they aged this in, and what bourbon they aged this in as well, because I'm not picking up a lot of bourbon at all. I guess the aspects of the bourbon I'm picking up on, there is a slight oakiness to it. The coffee comes in about midway to the finish. A nice kind of dark coffee that kind of lingers in the end as like a bittering coffee type. Not overly coffee forward though. Based on how this poured, I thought that the body It's going to be a little thicker, but it's on the medium light side of the body. I'll go medium. But there is like this, it's like caramel or brown sugar note that kind of like lingers on your tongue for a little bit, and then in the back of the palate, you get that coffee bitterness. It does, I will say this, it does kind of balance out that bitter and sweetness pretty well in this. I just wish that there was a little bit more body on this. I know it's a porter and not, a big stout, but I just wish there was just a tad bit more body on this. Loads of carbonation in this, higher side of carb. And I would think that would kind of push the flavors through a little bit more, but to be honest, it's a bit distracting in this particular beer. Definitely in those malts, you do get a little bit of that baker's chocolate that I got on the nose as well. Yeah, it's a decent enough beer. I just wish there was more to it in pretty much like all aspects. Body, I wish there was more bourbon presence. I wish there was just a slight bit more coffee presence to it as well. It just seems like everything about this beer is like toned down a notch for everything. Still not a bad beer. $2.99 cost me for the bottle, so I think that's well worth it. I mean, if it's just something that you're just looking to have like a nice nice drink. I mean, not to delve into anything crazy. Just just to have a nice semi-basic porter. I think that this is definitely kind of a go-to. It's not going to, blow your socks off, or doesn't have that like wow factor, but it's still a pretty decent beer. Heavy Seas I know gets a pretty good distribution, so if you see Heavy Seas in your area, you're probably going to see this guy. I'd say if you're down for like a little coffee porter action, definitely give this one a shot, but just don't expect to be wowed by it. But still, in the same frame, it's a decent enough beer. So much so that I'm gonna go enjoy the rest of this one, and I hope y'all find one to enjoy as well. Cheers.